Welcome to the second episode of Cook with Jase Special Edition with Crema Coffee Garage, helping me to show you what coffee should be. Today, we're delving into a different method with the Aeropress, something that's great for convenience. It's great for cost factor as well, getting into the market with coffee in your life, but also it's something that gives you complete control, something you can take with you camping, potentially to the gym as well. So sit back, take some notes again on this one as well. Aeropress is a fantastic way to get into the coffee market, to get those fantastic health and also performance benefits of what coffee can do for your life. Okay, so we just hammered the espresso method. Now I've got Aeropress, which is something that's a little bit lighter here.
Yeah, so essentially it's all down to the method and getting the proper recipe. You can control that lightness and intensity of flavour, but definitely in comparison to an espresso, to drink in the mouth, it's a lot smoother, bit of a lighter consistency than an espresso shot. So maybe a great place for people who are starting to move into the black coffee. It'd be a really good place to start for sure. So if you want, I can run you through how to make it. It's really easy.
Absolutely.
So this one here is the Aeropress. You've got your bottom chamber, your main brewing chamber. This one here is a piston there with the rubber seal. That's going to create that pressure later on. Then we've got a permanent filter on the bottom here, which just locks in. Now, you can either get, when you buy your Aeropress, it does include a packet of microfiber filters. However, you can actually purchase these metal filters as well. Just gets a little bit more, obviously, a bit more life out of it. For every paper filter you use, it's only got a one-time use and then you throw it away. So the metal filter, if you're really starting to get into Aeropress, it's a really good investment because, you know, treat it right and it'll last you quite some time. So the way Aeropress was actually originally designed, and we'll tell you in instructions when you do buy one, is for you to brew your coffee all here in the bottom chamber while sitting on your glass. And this actual top piston would be taken out. Now, for those of you really paying attention, you can already pick up on the floor there. The second you pour water in there, it's going to start dripping through. So we've got a little bit more of a pour over scenario as opposed to a brewing process.
Yep.
So those out there came up with the idea for what's called the inverted method. So we simply flip it over. We're going to take our permanent filter and our metal filter out, and we're actually going to pour our coffee straight into there and brew upside down. But that way we're actually encasing all the coffee, all the water in there, and we have a controlled brew time as opposed to some of it starting to drip through. So the recipe we're going to be using is 20 grams of coffee to 200 mils of water. Now we've actually pre-boiled our kettle and we've left it off to the side just for a touch. We've got it in our Bonavita kettle, but Bonavita actually do a temperature control kettle, which we do coincidentally happen to sell as well. It's fantastic for all of your alternate brews. So, and it's also actually really great for tea as well. I don't know if people know, but tea should actually be brewed at a lower temperature than boiling point. It can actually burn the leaves, similar with coffee. So if you're a real tea aficionado and you're starting to get into alternate brews, they're a solid investment to make. So we've just boiled our regular kettle and we've left it off to the side for a little bit, put it in there. And the ideal feature of these Bonavita kettles is the gooseneck. It's going to really help you with your controlled pour. So we're going to pour our coffee in. The grind coarseness that we're using, we call it about a medium grind. So if you ever were to come into Crema and ask for your coffee ground for an Aeropress, it's a number 4. So to give you an idea, Turkish coffee is a 1, really fine, and a plunge is a number 8, so quite coarse. So we're looking for a middle range of the spectrum. So we're just going to pour our coffee straight in there to the brewing chamber. You may just need to use this one to give you a hand.
So where would
a mess.
where would your home espresso sit on that scale of say 1 to 8 for people who haven't actually gone through that process?
Absolutely. So home espresso, about a number 3.
Yep.
Can vary machine to machine, but typically about a 3 coarseness. So it really is just a step up. Aeropress is a pretty forgiving brewing method. So without obviously we don't want to go too fine because we don't want to clog that filter. But if you did have it a little bit higher than that, there are actually people starting to play around with slightly coarser grinds of Aeropress, and they just start to notice the different flavours coming through. So these are what people who've already come up with an awesome product do in their spare time. They keep creating, they keep coming up with new ways to reinvent the product. So then once we've got our coffee in there, we're just going to shake it so it's nice and level. And we're actually going to do what we call a bloom. So we're going to pour roughly about 40 mils just to coat the coffee, and then we're going to leave it for about 30 seconds. So what that does is that just starts to open up the coffee, all the natural gases start to escape, and then that ensures a bit more of an even extraction when you add the remaining coffee. So only thing you've really got to master is the control of your gooseneck kettle there.
Steady hand.
Steady hand.
Steady hand, guys. I imagine this is not your first Aeropress moment?
No,
oh,
no.
Go,
many brews done in an Aeropress over time. It's one of my favourite ones to do as well, so I don't mind doing it whatsoever. So as you can see, it's just starting to soak down into the coffee, because what we want is a nice even extraction. So you can, even when you hover over the top, you can actually see it bubbling. They're the natural gases that we were talking about starting to escape. But then once we're there, we're just using a circular motion. This just helps incorporate the coffee. And the 200 ml mark, we're pretty much getting right up to the top. Then just to incorporate any dry bits we might have, Aeropress do include this stirrer here. So we're just going to gently pick up any dry coffee you might see that might have happened to stick there, or any dry bits that you may have at the top. But you don't want to agitate it too much. You just want it to brew gently.
Seriously, guys, after watching this, go to YouTube, rewind, playback. Not every day we get a professional barista in here to show you how to do this stuff, and I'm so keen to try the finished product because I've never had Aeropress before.
No?
Never.
How do you like black coffee? Are you a black coffee drinker or your
Absolutely.
milk? Okay, beautiful. Yeah, pretty confident that you're going to enjoy it. It's quite surprising to people. They really, and why would they? If they never see it introduced to them before, they can be really scared off black coffee, and that's what I love so much about the Aeropress. It's really opening people up to the different methods. So as you can see, whilst we're doing this, if we'd had it the other way around, this is a solid about 3 to 4 minutes. We're standing here and it just is time for the coffee to drip through. So you're not going to get a nice full extraction. So we're going to lock this one back on. But, like I was saying before, it really is down to personal preference how long you choose to let it sit for. And obviously you've got that metal filter inside that gives it the extra filtration. Only thing I will say is if you do use a paper filter, some people like to pour it under a little bit of hot water off on its own. Just helps it stick to the permanent filter, but can also get rid of any maybe like traces of paper fibres that might be on the filter. So then what we're just going to do is we're going to flip our cup, mug, whatever you choose, over like so. And another proof as to why it wouldn't be a good idea to just leave it sitting. See how just with the tiniest bit of pressure.
Oh, yeah. So I imagine it'd be quite important not to have a flimsy glass underneath there. If you're putting some pressure down,
oh, yeah,
you may have a little bit of an explosion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just prepare for the gun show or lack thereof. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could even have a feel
of how much.
There's
pressure.
Quite a bit of resistance there.
Wow, there is too.
Yeah. But it's kind of playing on the whole espresso extraction idea. So hence where the combo between the espresso and the plunger comes in.
Under pressure.
Yes.
So in terms of cost, okay, I walk in, I don't have a lot in my back pocket. Isn't Aeropress something that I can access?
Absolutely. You know what is really good about the Aeropress, and I actually quite talk it up a lot all the time, is the fact that when you do buy an Aeropress, everything comes with it. So you get, I'm just going to stop now. As soon as you start to feel a bit of a natural resistance, you want to stop. You don't want to push all the way to the bottom. You don't want to bruise that bottom coffee and smush through the last kind of remnants of it. So you can just see that nice, clear, smooth black. Yeah, so sorry, what I was saying, when you come in, you buy an Aeropress, you get the full setup. I think you get 350 paper filters.
Yep.
You get the stirrer, you get a scoop, you actually get a funnel that is specifically shaped to the bottom of the Aeropress, so that can help you in that pushing process. I just skip straight to the glass because I've done it a couple of hundred times. But you're looking roughly around, I think it's probably about just no more than $60 for that whole setup for Aeropress. If you've already got your kettle at home, you know, as you can see, we talked about how you can boil kettle and just leave it off to the side for a moment as long as you've got a nice controlled pour. I mean, goosenecks are always ideal.
Yep.
But if it's something you want to build to, there are little shortcuts you can make to tailor it to you, and then the more you get into it, the more you're gonna want all those accessories. But that's what's so great about the Aeropress is you buy it, it's all there. You don't have to, I have to get this, I have to get that, I have to get that. You just need to get your coffee and have your water at home. 350
odd filters, that's like 1 coffee a day, 2 coffees a day for half the year. For that amount of money, that's affordable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, and that's what's fantastic about the Aeropress is you're not forking out a great deal of money to enjoy a great cup of coffee.
Time to get those antioxidants in you with this method, guys. And if it's something that you need that cost-effective nature, this was ticking all the boxes. And shall we do the taste test and see what the Aeropress is doing for you? On camera, look out.
I was going to say, just make sure it doesn't burn your mouth.
Wow, that is really smooth.
Yeah.
That is really smooth.
And it's just, that's what's so great about it. Like we were saying before, people who aren't used to a black coffee, you've got to try something like this because it really opens your mind to how delicious it is and how easy it is to drink. I think most of the time you see someone drink a black coffee who's never had it before, a hot one, and the face is...
I love that face.
But happy to report that you did not make that face when tasting that. So proof is in the reaction and in the pudding. So
absolutely, Jase is still here, and there will be another episode at some point. So
awesome, thank you.
Thanks for joining us for another episode, special edition of Cook with Jase with Crema Coffee Garage, where they're helping me show you what coffee should be. So that was it for the Aeropress today. We've got another fantastic manual method coming up next week on part 3 with pour over. So be sure to join us then. We're really rounding out the entire coffee experience for you, and I look forward to seeing you then.